Yo, what's going on? This is Miss the Part here, and yeah, we're gonna be doing some behind the scenes content with just me and my phone. Like, we're literally going to discuss this brand new series, and I'm really excited to get into it. It's just behind the scenes content with me, yours truly, Max Charlevoix, aka Miss the Part, um, where we just make videos, content, build universes, write storylines. This is where the magic happens. I mean, like, there's nothing more to really say. I wanted to go with a less edited, more simple style, and I thought, why not do this? I think it would be very interesting to just connect on a different level, especially like with doing this. Like, it's currently um, almost like 8 o'clock here, Eastern time. And so, I mean, I've just been chilling. I'm not really doing much. Like, I'm really just chilling around, mainly because, um, well, we got a lot of plans. There's a lot of stuff happening. Lots of stuff that did happen with my health recently, um, which ended up setting the channel back a little bit because I couldn't post for over 2 weeks. I couldn't even go to any of my classes um, for that amount of time because I was just out. I was just out, I had an infection. I'm not going to say where it was. It was just bad, but the infection didn't get worse. It actually got cleared. But it actually set the channel back about 2 weeks because we were planning on releasing. There was a ton of content that we wanted to release, lots of stories that I wanted to write. I didn't have the motivation to write any of those storylines. And I mean, I'm just here today doing this video. Like, I'm excited to discuss behind the scenes what I want to do, what I want to talk about, when I want to write. I mean, there's so much stuff in the news going on with Marvel, DC, Star Wars, other content creators that I've been following. Lots of people behind the scenes. Zachary Stonebreaker, like the co-host for TikTok, and also discussing like the channel, like what's going on. There's so many different series that we have planned, and I mean, I'm very excited to do a lot more. Like, seriously, like, there's so much different content to write, and a lot of people are really asking me like, oh, like, what's this video, like, what are you going to be doing? And I mean, I just feel like doing this because this is just the other part of the journey. You get to see my voiceovers, you get to see my videos, my fan fictions, what I write. But I think it would just be amazing just to see the behind the scenes. Like, I'm just pulling out my phone. I'm just doing the bare minimum here. Like, I'm just gonna document like what I do on a daily basis. Um, I mean, daily, like, what do I do as a writer? Um, how do I prep a storyline? Like, what do I write? What do I like to write? What ideas do I have? And also just talking business, different aspects of YouTube and experiences. Like, I think it's amazing. Like, this is an amazing start. Like, this is a breakthrough that I wanted to do for a long time. Didn't know how I wanted to do it because I was like, you know, I was I'm lost for words because at this point I'm like, I'm just gonna do this because I think it's gonna be really interesting to get the behind the scenes with a lot of the content. Like, if you think about it, we've been going for 4 or 5 years straight. uploading weekly videos. Like, if you've been following the MissedThePart channel, it's really evolved over the past few years, and the last 2 years have been very interesting, to say the least. Kind of feels like a dream because the past 2 years with making content, I've really learned a lot of different strategies, a lot of different things to do with the videos. And what I've learned is, you have to really try anything. Like, you got to just go for it. Try your best because anything's possible. Writing different things, like, it's a big thing to do, especially when you're starting out and you're doing this and you don't know how to navigate yourself. You're kind of um like you don't really know what to do. Like, you're getting into this space, and as a content creator and somebody who writes fan fictions, it was just like, I was writing for fun and I thought, well, this topic would be interesting, like an alternate ending of Green Goblin killing Spider-Man in Spider-Man 2002. And people are like, well, how did you come up with that? And it's like, it's something that you can see, but you can't see. It's almost like you have a movie playing in your head. And so when you're writing, you're you're pretty much scanning through visions of what you're seeing in your head. And a lot of people didn't really see that. And I think that's something that I have is like, if you're really invested in a series, it's very easy to do that. And for different content creators and seeing different niches like DC, Star Wars, like, you can really see who is really passionate about doing this type of content. And I'm so passionate about doing this to the point where, like, I wouldn't care if I were to do this and maybe 10 people watched because I like doing it. And that's the addiction that you get when you're doing YouTube. And for me, it was always like the next video, the next video. And I really wanted to provide and give back. And doing that has been really just an amazing experience these past few years. But a lot of people, they don't really know what happens behind the scenes. They don't even know what I do on a daily basis, how I get my ideas, what I want to do in the future, any of my goals. And I thought, I'm a human being. I'm into the world of pop culture, but nobody really knows who I am and what my journey is and what I want to accomplish. And I thank you for joining me as we continue through this amazing experience throughout life itself. Like, I'm genuinely excited because this is a new era. Something that I haven't done before, something I wanted to do for a long time. Even on, like, Patreon, I was like, I want to do behind the scenes content, but I didn't know how to do it. And now I'm just like, you know what? I'm just posting what I feel like doing whenever I feel like it, and that's it. I mean, genuinely, I I'm excited. Like, literally, I had my laptop, like, right there, and my backpack. So, I mean, like, later tomorrow morning, um, which you're probably going to see in the video because I'm going to document some of this stuff, I'm going to be doing some writing for that brand new Spider-Man series that I want to do. It's the Peter Parker, The Webs of Spider-Man, or The Web of Spider-Man. I mean, it's been a long time coming, but I mean, as a writer, getting the opportunity to write Spider-Man is something that nobody would really have unless you work at, like, Marvel or something. And for a channel that does fan fictions, that does fan-made content, I'm excited to get into that series. It's something that I've wanted to do, but there's so many other series that I have. Like, I want to do the Marvel Zombies custom storyline and really dive into that too. But going back to the Spider-Man what if and doing my own version of the character, I think that was really cool. When we announced that, I think it was last summer when I announced it. But, I was talking to everybody on the channel and I said, like, okay, this would be coming out. It eventually never did. It didn't come out. Now, I think the reason it mainly didn't come out was because when I announced it, I didn't have the story written down. I actually had drafts. And so I was working with Spidey Erican, a really great artist. And so at the time I was purchasing a couple thumbnails. And I think the way that I was looking at it was I wanted to build up some of these thumbnails and then start releasing it. But me and Erican, unfortunately, like, we stopped continuing work for a bit. And so it just kept getting put off because I was doing other what if content. I was writing other storylines. Like, I was doing what if Sonic had the symbiote? What if Wolverine had 6 arms? And this was when I was applying to school for film school. And so it was kind of just there. Like, it didn't really happen. There was ideas and drafts that I had. And I actually talked to Sean Dillinger, which he's actually doing his own Web of Spider-Man series. And shout out to Sean. Hope he's doing well. Hope he's staying safe out there. He voiced over the Peter Parker voice lines for Marvel Zombies Revenge a couple years ago. But I was talking to Sean, and I actually mentioned to him what I wanted to do. And originally the plan was going to be like, me and Sean were going to write these stories out. I originally had the drafts. I came to Sean about it, and I think Sean got busy. And we wanted to take the direction of moving to Spotify. And I was thinking, this would be a great audio drama, like something like voice actors, music, voice lines, like things that would get people interested. It was something that I wanted to do. I thought, nobody's done this before. And I was thinking about it. I was like, I could get these voice actors. I could either mix it. I could hire maybe an audio engineer to mix the audio. And I genuinely wanted to do that. And then all of a sudden, when school hit, it just all kind of took a back seat. And I was like, this series might not be written that quick. I was putting it off. And then over time, it just didn't happen. But originally, I wanted to have Dr. Octopus as the main villain. I wanted to put Peter in a scenario where, yeah, he would go through the events pretty much the same as the original comic books. But I was like, I want to write something that's deep. Like, if somebody like Uncle Ben, like, were to get shot and killed in cold blood, like Amazing Fantasy 15, or Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, or even The Amazing Spider-Man, I thought, how do I mix all those adaptations into a single storyline? Like, how do I make it realistic? Because I was thinking, like, yeah, this would be awesome to do. Like, it would be amazing. But I always felt like, with my version, if I was given the opportunity to write a Spider-Man series and somebody said, okay, this is what's happening, you get creative freedom. I always had a feeling like I would love to bring in the aspect of real life to the scenario. Like, I feel like the night Uncle Ben died, the entire audio drama just takes you through like an 8-hour experience Like, each hour of the night is told within the audio drama. So, like, hour 1 could be the wrestling match, but it's a complete hour worth of content. Like, it could be maybe 20 minutes written on the wrestling match, 20 minutes afterwards. Like, nothing left out at all. Like, it's a buildup. Like, it just keeps going until you get to that point. And I'm like, I want to do this. Like, I want to make this happen. I wanted to put the first 3 episodes as the day Uncle Ben gets shot and killed, but I wanted the audio drama to be like 8 hours long. Like, I originally was like, okay, the first part's gonna be like almost a 12-hour experience. Like, it's almost like you're putting your headphones on and you're immersed into this world where you're almost walking through, but you see everything. Like, you see maybe the perspective of the cops who show up to see Uncle Ben getting shot. You get the perspective of Uncle Ben. Maybe there's 10 minutes, at least 5 minutes of backstory, what Uncle Ben did, how he got to the wrestling match. And then you get into the wrestling match and you start explaining things from there. But when he gets shot, I thought it would be so cool to write a Spider-Man storyline where it takes Peter at least 3 hours, maybe even 4, to find who did it. And so Peter Parker, The Webs of Spider-Man was going to be something like that. I really want to write a storyline that's just absolutely insane. It would take a lot of money, though, I think, to get the voice actors, because I feel like we would have to hire freelancers for a lot of these different positions. And I think that was another thing that kind of set me back, was that I wanted to do it, but then I couldn't because I was going to school, and I was like, before I knew it, I couldn't write the storyline, and it was a brand new story that I wanted to do. I was pumped to do it, and then all of a sudden I had to go to school because it was something that I originally had planned. And then after school, I finished the first semester. But even still, I haven't found a lot of time to really sit down and write some of the stuff out. Because if I'm going to write like an 8-hour storyline, like, it would really be insane. Like, genuinely. So, I mean, I'm going to try and write it. I'm going to document a lot of this stuff. And I'm just going to go about my day. I mean, literally, like, you're going to see it. So, again, it's going to be an insane journey, and I can't wait to have you on board. So, it's going to be amazing. Let's get into this. So, the one thing I do before I start writing, a lot of people ask me, like, how do you prepare to write storylines? Like, what do you do that makes the story possible? And how do you do it so fast? Well, it's pretty simple. Depends where I am, really, where you get the ideas, what happens in between. Especially if you can keep the idea as a movie in your head. If you have that gift, you're really gifted. Like, you really can do a lot. Like, if you can close your eyes. To me, right now, I'm closing my eyes and I'm thinking, you know, what do I see that catches my eye? And it really can go either way. It could go to anything. It could be a what if. It could be a custom storyline, custom characters, original content. And as a writer, for me, when I get it in my head, like, right now I'm picturing a what if. And the what if takes place, it's kind of like Avengers 2012, and it's a high angle shot of all the buildings. The camera's panning downwards, and all you see is like zombie Iron Man, zombie Captain America, and they're eating civilians. And in the what if, all of a sudden, you're connecting the dots. Like, what happened before then? Oh, Loki came in. He got infected first. He infected Nick Fury. Nick Fury, or Phil Coulson, ended up calling Iron Man to assemble the Avengers. Boom, we got the what if. It's in my head. It's not even written down. And then what happens next? Oh, well, Thanos, he was there. He hired Loki, the other. You're taking content from the MCU and then you're building it. You're stitching it up to be a storyline. And what could happen is, what am I thinking of? Oh, I'm thinking of frickin' a ship comes down unknowingly. It's unknown. Nobody knows what's going on, especially in the ship. Thanos, he's concerned. He doesn't know why Loki hasn't replied to him. He's angry that he's been betrayed. He thinks he's been betrayed. But then in the storyline, what I'm picturing is a blue beam comes down, kind of like Endgame. Thanos appears with his double-bladed sword, and he's alone. And the streets, it's chaos. It's pure chaos. Oh, there's my dog, by the way. His name's Cash. But there's pure chaos in the streets, and all of a sudden, Thanos turns to his right side and sees the Avengers eating civilians. They're infected. Thanos gets attacked by Loki and the Avengers at the same time. Boom, that's a what if storyline. We're stitching events together. But a lot of people ask me, how do you see it? It's very simple. You just close your eyes. You envision what you want to do. And for a story that I want to write, such as Peter Parker, The Webs of Spiderman, that series, like, I can envision Peter, sitting on a couch and, it's raining. Maybe he's sitting on his bed. And what happens is it's the day after, like the night after the events of Ben. His shirt's off, he's beaten, he's fought criminals, he's angry. And it's raining out, there's thunder. He's crying because, his father figure passed away. Stuff like that, it's what I get when I'm writing. It just happens. A lot of people ask me that. They're like, well, how do you prepare? A lot of the time, this is where I'm at. I'm here, my dog's there. It's not my apartment where I'm currently living, but my main home, like when I was here, I was mostly here, living here. So, I'd sit here with my headphones, maybe for 2 hours. And most of the time, I would actually listen to music and think before even writing sometimes. A lot of people are like, well, how does that work? Like, it's just, you get these movie clips, and then when you're writing it down, it's easy. To me, it comes together. Especially when writing storylines. Like, I get so many requests, and, they're great. They're really great. You get some ones that are really different. Some of them are a little bit crazy, but then you get some of them that are really interesting. Like, what if Willy Wonka was evil? Or, like, what Zachary wanted me to do? He wanted me to do, what if Home Alone? Like, what if Kevin became Jigsaw? Or something like that. And it's just ideas. And then you take the idea that you want. I usually meditate, sit down, listen to music, start building the blocks in my head, and then I put it to paper. Like, it's really simple. It's fun. It's very different. And I think the journey that we're about to take is going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. We got freaking Cash with my clean clothes here. Look at him. What are you doing, buddy? Are you sleeping? Yeah, he's tired. But I mean, yeah, I mean, this is a what if channel. I mean, it's a fan fiction channel. You can call it what you want, but I do original content for your enjoyment. I've always loved doing it, and we're going to continue to do it. And you're going to see another side of the channel, and I think that's what you need. I mean, we need that personal experience. And again, I hear you. I hear what you want to see. I know what you want. I don't want to just put out content and not show you the inside depth of, who I am as a person. I think it's just, this is a totally different experience video. Like, as someone who's 22 years old and wants to write stories, I have plans. I would love to do original content, original characters, build my own IP. It's something I want to do. I would love to do my own novel series. It's something that's in the cards. But to, build the journey up, this is it. This is going to be episode 1. I love talking to you guys, and I think we need to get into that space. What do you guys like to see? I'm always trying new things, doing new things, and it's definitely time for something new on the channel. I mean, we're always evolving, right? So, we're going to do a writing session a little bit. We might even do a little bit of meditation, listening to music. Sometimes I rock out and it's almost like I'm playing a movie in my head. Like, I don't know if you guys have that ever, where you're just playing a movie. But again, I'm excited. There's a lot of Marvel news coming out, lots of stuff coming out, and lots of ideas. I would love to do, I know somebody said do an X-Men 97 what if. That's something I would love to do. I got to study the show, rewatch episodes. Because, you got to remember, I don't know I know what I know. I don't know everything. I don't know every piece of media that there is out there. I will learn if I have to, especially when Zachary and a lot of other people on the channel, they wanted me to do the God of War series. And I had to research that because I didn't grow up with God of War. I didn't have a PlayStation 3. I had a PS2. Me and my brother did. We shared that. We actually still have it. But I never had those games. I actually grew up with a PS1, and I was playing Spiderman 2000, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. So, it wasn't something that I was really introduced to, so I had to search it on my own. And I don't have a PlayStation 5. I don't have a PlayStation 4 anymore. My girlfriend gave that to her friend, so I don't have a PS4. So, I'm pretty much just researching, doing my research, watching gameplay videos, taking notes, doing what I can. That's what we got to do. And when you're writing, you're going to make mistakes. It's inevitable. It's the journey. It's what you do. I'm not a professional. I did college level English in high school. I wouldn't say I'm an expert. Definitely not. It's difficult, yeah, but it's possible. So again, we're going to do a writing session in the morning, get some good sleep. I just recovered from an examination yesterday. So, that's why all that's there. Overall, though, I just thought, you know what? Why not do this? I haven't documented my journey, and I have to. It's something that I have to do on this channel. I feel obligated to, but not only obligated, I want to do it. I was lazy, I was fearful, and I was scared. But now I'm just like, you know what? If you like my content, I thank you so much. And I'm going to do what I can. I'm just going to record, document life as it is. You know, I'm not going to be obsessed over it, but I'm going to give you as much as I can because I'm passionate about this. We're a family, the watchers of the multiverse, people that have been invested for years, hardly know anything about me, and it's time we finally dive into a new era on the channel. And I'm very excited. Let's get into the writing session. I'm hyped. I'll see you in the morning. Peace out. Hope everybody's doing well. It's currently the morning. It's like 6, I want to say it's like 6:30 in the morning. Yeah, it's fairly dark out. There's literally no light out at all. It's actually a snow day for a lot of kids up here in Canada. So I mean, yeah, I'm gonna start the morning. There's a freaking pizza box there. I'm gonna grab my laptop and we're going to write a couple drafts out. I'm thinking of doing the draft. It's gonna be the Spiderman draft, but I'm pretty excited to get into it, write down some ideas for the series. Again, really excited and can't wait to do it. It's gonna be awesome. So I ended up cleaning up there because I don't usually like working with anything that's kind of in my way. It just kind of bothers me. I was thinking of doing a music slash meditation session before we begin, just to kind of get the ideas going. But I feel pretty confident in my ability. Even last night when I went to bed, damn it, my phone's low on battery, so I'll have to charge it. But I mean, even when I went to bed, I felt fine with the ideas earlier. So it wasn't that bad. I did get a lot of emails from people. I'm just literally moving that out of the way. Kind of just gonna put myself there. I did get a lot of emails talking about voice actors that I needed for a Spider-Man 4 project, and I think we're gonna dive into that video a little bit later, possibly later. All right, let's grab this laptop. All right, got the laptop ready. One thing I need is my glasses. So I'm thinking it's literally the first day doing this. So, I mean, it's freaking weird documenting all this stuff. I mean, who would have thought that I would be doing this? But at this point, I feel like it's a very different scenario. It's very different. It's all new to me. There's other things that I also have that I have to grab for my backpack. Some of you might laugh at this, but this is serious. My freaking Iron Man mouse, and that I always use it. I don't know how much battery I have, but we're gonna find out real quick. And yeah, I mean, I don't usually do it here. I usually write my stuff at my apartment, but since I'm down for reading week, I was also down because of medical issues that kind of kept me from going, so it was really weird how it happened. I've technically had 3 weeks off, which is insane. People are wondering where I am. I got cleared. So the doctor, they did an examination and they were like, yeah, you're pretty much good to go. You're healthy. There's nothing wrong with you. So, I mean, I'm excited. The only thing is that I still feel like I need to do something about my weight. So when I do get back to the city, I'm planning on like getting a gym membership, probably at like Good Life or something like that. I definitely need to. It's something I have to do. I think that's better. But then you can't really see, so I mean, it's gonna kind of hunch over. I mean, this is what we do. Like, this is literally how it goes. So what I do is I just go to Google Docs. I have like I have another account that's usually just for Google Docs because it really gets kind of complexed. Peter Parker, the webs of Spider-Man, story draft. And then I'm copying this because it's going to be my title. If things are not organized, it just doesn't work. Like, I will get frustrated. I'm not even kidding. So that's good. Boom. Part 1. Because I like to kind of have it where it's really organized. Like, I'll show you. I wonder if this does anything. It doesn't do much. So that's currently what it's looking like. So we're gonna write a draft. It should be fairly interesting. I might even change the frickin' camera angle just because why not? And so for this draft, we're going to do, I'm also charging my phone at the same time. So I was thinking like for this particular story draft, you know, I wanted everything to be built up. It was going to be a storyline that it's kind of like we already know Peter's going to get bit by the spider, right? So we already have that established. So I'm thinking for this particular storyline, it's going to be already happening. So Peter's already going to be bit. So we're not going to tell that part of the storyline. And I think I want to do that just to save on time. Personally, I'm like, I would like to do it. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, I don't want to not tell it. But at the same time, I feel like we should just get into it. Like, he gets bit. We're already establishing that. Like, it's already happening, right? So, from my perspective, part 1's going to be this big story. So I'm not going to write a ton for the draft. I'm going to write, you know, Uncle Ben's part, Peter's part, most of the stuff that we know, but also adding in. I want to add in stuff that we haven't seen before. You know, Peter getting bit, but there's this gap of time that we have, and we don't know where it's gonna take him. So that's something that I want to do. We have to establish, you know, are we going to use MJ? Are we going to use Gwen? Like, who's going to be the love interest? Because if we're doing Gwen, I mean, we're going to have to decide, I think, now. I don't even know right now what I want to do. So I'm thinking part 1, we're going to do, yeah, I mean, that's difficult. Because if we go with Gwen, I'm thinking it would be, in high school. So either they're in high school, either they're in college. Like, I'm not sure where I want to take it. See, this is the thing. When you're a fan fiction writer, these things don't take 2 seconds. These things take a long time. I'm already having a difficult time writing a draft. Even though I know what I want, I don't know how to express it. So I'm thinking, let's do, for now, we're not gonna go that way. The end goal would be after season 1. I'm thinking of calling them seasons, even though the episodes are very long. My main goal is to get to season 3, which is going to be the symbiote storyline, but we're going to have a ton of fun with it. Like, it's going to be like just incredibly crazy, original. I want to take elements from Amazing Spider-Man 300, but I also want to like really just make it my own thing. To get to that point, this is where we're going to establish, characters like Eddie Brock, like what's going to happen. When's he going to be introduced? Season 1, I'm thinking Dr. Octopus is going to be the main villain. So how do we kind of do that? And I remember Sean had an idea. I believe we discussed it before, but he was thinking that maybe Otto, I think this was his idea, but maybe Otto was a teacher at the high school and he was teaching Peter. I think that would be a really cool idea to establish Otto as the character, because then we get emotion, right? So we get that extra depth, I think, with the relationship of Peter and Otto, because it extends further. It's even before Peter becomes Spider-Man. It's like Otto was a professor. He already knew Peter. And this is all building my own universe within the Marvel universe with this fan fiction. So I'm thinking part 1, we're going to have Peter. Crap, I'm writing in bold. I don't like doing that. Like, I'll have everything else in bold, but I will not write in bold. Just because it feels weird. I don't know why. That's just me. Even when I'm reading the script, it just doesn't, I don't know. So part 1, all right. Part 1, we establish that Peter Parker already gets bit by the radioactive spider in this timeline. Boom. So I'm going to do bulletin points because this is a draft of mine. It's nothing, like, we don't have, what the hell? Okay, that's weird. Why is it doing that? It just made like multiple bullet points. I don't know why. We established that Peter Parker already got bit by the radioactive spider. Okay, we already have that. Peter begins, or no, I'll put there is a long period of time where Peter ends up, he's gonna end up like using his powers, learning his powers. So that's gonna be interesting. There's gonna be a long period of time where Peter ends up learning his powers before Uncle Ben dies within this universe. Peter Parker will end up, because we're gonna, like, now I'm kind of thinking like, well, he has his powers. How are we going to do the wrestling match? How's Uncle Ben gonna do that? Because I'm thinking, like, we could go with the Andrew Garfield type of story where maybe Peter gets angry at Uncle Ben, or we could even do maybe Peter ends up just going to the wrestling match, and Uncle Ben is going to either get shot at the house, kind of like the original comics, or we could do something completely different that's never been done before. And that could be maybe like Peter gets picked up by Uncle Ben, and maybe the robber starts running outside, and maybe he gets freaking shot. Like, he gets, like in the storyline, you could have it where it happens in front of Peter. He's literally in the situation. And so we could end up doing that. I think it would be really interesting. So I think what I'm honestly thinking for an idea is that Peter Parker is going to be with Uncle Ben, but he's already let the robber go when he was stealing the money. And so Peter and Ben are walking outside. I think it would be really cool because maybe there's going to be a confrontation. Okay, let's start writing this. So Peter Parker will end up leaving because this is a brand new universe, right? So we're not gonna just copy other franchises and do other things. I want to make it interesting, more realistic, give you a perspective in my personal experience. I mean, I don't have an Uncle Ben that got shot, but I mean, from seeing the world around me, I feel like this would be more of a realistic take for a storyline. So I'm gonna put Peter Parker will end up leaving the wrestling match, winning the fight, and lets the robber go through the elevator. Okay. Peter meets with Uncle Ben at the location that Peter gave Ben. There is a small gap of time where Peter ends up like jumping from building to building. He's happy. Actually, yeah. No. Because I'm thinking if Peter, I just had an idea if Peter ended up winning, then what if there was some type of thing where Peter took the money and he won the money, but what happens is that Peter gets confronted by Uncle Ben. So it's kind of like the robber scene doesn't happen until Peter meets Uncle Ben and he has the money with him. So I'm thinking of doing that, but then I don't know. That's where I'm like, I love the original Spider-Man content. So I feel like I'm not, like, I don't want to stray away from it, but I feel like it would be interesting if Peter won the wrestling match, he won the money, there's no robber yet, he just leaves. I think that's what we're gonna do. Because if you think about it, in the original comics, that kind of happened. Like, it was more so Ben was shot in his own home. So I think this would be interesting if we have Peter, because I mean, we all know Dennis Carradine did steal the money in the original comics, but it would be cool if Peter confessed to Uncle Ben what he was really doing. For some reason, my battery's low. It should be charging. Really don't know why. I'm just gonna see. I mean, hopefully. So, yeah, we're gonna do Peter will end up leaving the wrestling match, winning the fight, and okay, and wins the money. We're gonna say maybe like $1,500 American. 1,500. Okay. I'm gonna just write a little note. We're gonna have the robber only takes a portion of the money because Peter will end up using it to get his costume. We'll end up using it to upgrade. Yeah, we're going to upgrade. Upgrade his Spider-Man costume after the events. So this is just a little note that I want to do. Peter meets with Uncle Ben at the location that Peter gave Ben. There is a small gap of time where Peter is extremely happy. Okay, extremely happy that not only did he win the money, but he could have a potential job opportunity at the wrestling events, I guess. Okay, so boom, we got that done. Peter meets with Ben. He is a little bit late, but we're gonna have Ben end up seeing bruises on Peter. He's gonna see that Peter is a little bit hurt, you know, he's sweaty. Ben's gonna be like, okay, like, you obviously didn't go to where you were supposed to go. So we're gonna write that in, I think, for the storyline. My phone's probably gonna die, so I'm gonna cut it from here, and I'm just gonna show you what I have, and then I'll just return it back to that area, because I don't know why my phone, like, I'm recording, but I don't know if it records while it's charging. Like, I'll just see. All right. I'll just give you a glimpse. That's literally it. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so I mean, it's back. I'm gonna move a little bit back. Yeah. Probably like that. All right. That's better for me. I mean, at this point it doesn't matter, because whatever angle's better. I personally am just kind of like, well, I feel like the angle should be over there, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I also wanted to get the laptop in the shot, so we were at Peter meets with Ben. He's a little bit late, but Ben ends up like saying that, okay, Peter's a little bit exhausted here, you know, he's bruised. Like, why is this happening? Like, Ben obviously knows that Peter lied to him. Peter went somewhere else. He's actually hurt. And so Ben's going to confront him. And the one thing that's going to be interesting is that his original suit, the original Spider-Man suit's going to be kind of under his hoodie, kind of like the Raimi trilogy. But in the storyline, we're going to have like Ben being like, what's all this money doing here? Like what the hell's this? Like, obviously something's going on. Like, it's kind of like a parent confronting the kid. And from personal experience, I mean, not really. Like, I've never actually had a personal experience like this, but to relate, I mean, like, it's kind of like a report card. You know, you did bad on it. You're going to your parent, and obviously, you're being confronted. Like, it happens to the best of us, right? I mean, if you've had a perfect report card, I mean, great for you, man. But like, I mean, some of us can relate though, I think. So we're gonna have Peter meets with Ben. He's a little bit late, but Ben sees that something is wrong with Peter. He is bruised, sweaty, and a little bit beaten up. Two things stand out. Peter has his Spider-Man costume sticking out of his hoodie, and also we have the money. Yeah, we have the money in his hands. So Ben ends up confronting Peter. So we're gonna do that. Peter ends up talking to Ben. about what's really going on. He's going to reveal everything, because I think this is going to be very cool, where Peter, instead of not telling him, he's just going to say, look it. He's going to be truthful. He's not going to BS him. He's going to just say, yeah, this happened. This is what's really going on. I mean, there's no way around it. Like, if, yeah, you could lie, but you're going to get yourself in a worse situation. I just think having Peter making peace with Ben and then the robber showing up, it's like wrong place, wrong time for that to happen in that location. But the impact is really going to be like big. I just feel like it's a little bit more realistic. It shows like Peter being who he really is, especially Ben and Peter not on bad terms. Like they're on pretty good terms. I think Ben in this story, I'm thinking, is going to accept the fact that this has happened to his nephew. You know, he's not going to like have any anger. I mean, he's such a nice guy to Aunt May, everybody around him. Like, why would Ben scold him for what? I mean, he's doing good. But I think it's going to be the fact that he did end up not being as truthful as he should have been in the storyline. So I think that's what I want to write. So obviously we're going to have, like Peter and Ben end up talking about everything. Peter is truthful and tells Ben the truth, that he didn't end up going. I mean, we haven't even established where Peter went, like what he told Uncle Ben. Again, this is a draft piece, and I like doing this because then I can, I'm going down the aisle with points, but then I can go in the middle and fill in those gaps. So, I mean, I think it's going to be pretty good. It honestly really helps filling in those gaps, because now we know. Now we can say, where did he go? What happened? What school is he going to? How old is he? I mean, he's a teenager in this universe, obviously. Apologize for that. So yeah, Peter and Ben end up talking about everything. Peter's truthful and tells Ben the truth, that he didn't end up going to wherever, because we don't know yet, wherever he said he went. And then I'll just put a note, lied to Ben originally. Ben accepts Peter's apology, and the two end up talking for a bit about the powers and everything that happens, and Ben wishes that Peter would use his powers for the greater good rather than entertainment purposes, as he begins to sit Peter down about the possibilities. Like, what if you're a mutant? Like, what are we going, like, Ben is shocked. He's in this story, I'm thinking, he's kind of like, what are we gonna do? Like, he has powers. Do I tell Aunt May? If I tell Aunt May, is she gonna go to the cops? Are the cops gonna arrest Peter? Is he a mutant? Of course we're gonna have the other heroes in the background. We're not gonna say anything yet because I haven't established any of those characters for this particular universe that I'm building. I mean, it's gonna be connected to other things that I'll probably do, but to do that, I mean, we're gonna say, like, he's in shock now because he's like, oh, like this is happening. Like I've heard mutants on, the TV. Obviously he's not a mutant, but Ben's gonna be shocked. He's not gonna know what to really do. But in that gap period, at the same time, we have this robber who, you know, he wasn't really there. Like, he didn't steal from Peter yet, but he's going to now. He sees that there's two people who are kind of isolated from everyone else. He's gonna, he's like, oh, easy prey. There's an old man with his kid. I'm just gonna rob them for some money. I mean, Peter has the money in his hand, in public. So, obviously, people are gonna be looking. And yeah, I mean, people carry guns in the States. I don't live in the States, but I mean, this guy, he's not really a killer. He's not out to just murder people. He's just there. He saw an opportunity and it went wrong and he shot Ben. I mean, that's how I could write it. I mean, you're literally getting, this is what it is. I find it weird to speak out of my mind. It feels so different. Documenting this is so strange. And to do this, I'm so glad we're doing this. This is really cool. But, I mean, we're going to put, okay, Ben wishes that Peter would use his powers for the greater good rather than entertainment purposes. As he begins to sit Peter down about the implications about his powers, Ben realizes that people might react differently around Peter if people knew that he had these powers, such as Aunt May. Ben is kind of thinking about the pros and cons, and the two start discussing like what they should do about it. But before anything else is really talked about, because this is where it's going to get interesting, a common criminal, I mean, he's not really a criminal, sees an opportunity and analyzes, I don't even know how to, analyzes Peter and Ben and sees Peter with a large sum of cash out in public with not a lot of people. Around. It's dark out. It's about to rain. Like, it's not a lot of people are really out and about. I'm just gonna see if my grammar, I'm just kind of seeing if everything's good. All right. So far, it's looking pretty good. I mean, we've gotten to a more realistic approach of what we want to do with this particular story. I think it's great that we're going outside the box. I think it's really cool, especially like a story like this. If somebody dies in front of you, especially if a criminal ended up doing this, like, I don't know if a lot of you guys have ever experienced that, but I think you would be pretty shocked. Like, Peter wouldn't, like, I'm getting goosebumps talking about this because it's crazy. There's so many iterations of the character, and I feel like this is, I don't know if it's me, it could be ego. I really like how this is turning out. I really do. I'm just thinking Peter isn't going to leave Ben. But this is taking place probably at like 4 p.m. Maybe it could be like before dinner, maybe after dinner, but it doesn't matter because this is going to be a long night for all these individuals. Like when Ben gets shot, Peter is not going to leave Ben. Like Peter's going to call for help. He's going to stay with Ben. The robber, he takes some of the money. He's going to get away. But in that gap period, he's really only gotten maybe 4 hours of time. And because of that, it was because Peter ended up staying with Ben rather than taking his rage out on this robber. Because Peter, I mean, yeah, he could have, like a what if timeline, Peter could, if someone goes like this, is Peter, I mean, like, he could stop him, right? Yes, he could. But if it happens so fast, like, I think we're going to add in the spider sense. He's not going to fully react. Like, Ben's going to, jump in front of the gun kind of thing, right? Gets shot. Peter looks at the robber, looks back at Ben. He kind of screams out, but he stays with Ben because, that's just who Peter is. And that does give the robber a gap period where, yeah, he escaped the crime scene. Doesn't mean he's free to go. Like, he's still in the city, and when Peter gets mad, like, after, the ambulance takes Ben in and he learns that Ben didn't make it, Ben passed away. He's gonna lose it. He's gonna be frustrated. So that's what we're gonna write in. Yeah, we're gonna write that in. I think that's good. I mean, I personally think it would be really cool. So we're gonna do, okay. A lot of people around. It's dark out. It's about to rain. This guy who sees an opportunity starts to approach Peter and Ben. Peter's spider sense starts to kick in as he sees something as he feels something is wrong. He is less experienced with the spider sense, as he really only used it to win the wrestling match. So everything happens very fast. Ben and Peter are now being confronted and robbed at gunpoint. The guy ends up pulling out his gun, and Ben sees this and jumps in front, but scares the criminal. And shoots Ben directly in the chest, and the man ends up stealing some of the money from the bag. And okay, so we got that. Peter ends up I wrote that wrong. Peter ends up having to make a choice as he sees the robber running away, but he also sees Ben, who is hurt, and blood is pouring out of his chest. Peter starts screaming for help as Ben begins to cry and watch Peter. Now, we could go two ways from here. With great power must also come great responsibility, or maybe he kind of does what Yinsen did in Iron Man 2008, where he kind of like points at him. Now I'm thinking the great power would cement this particular Spider-Man. I think it would be so deep that his dying words, you know, Ben was trying to tell him earlier, like, you know, you could use your powers for good. Like, I see what you're doing. Like, you're a kid. You just got these powers. You want some money. But I think you could go down this path. And Ben's not disagreeing. He's actually happy that Peter has these powers. You know, Ben was doing good things for people. So he's ecstatic that Peter could do good things for people, but in a different way. So I think with him dying like this in a Spider-Man storyline and writing this series out, I think it would be really cool to have Ben say this. You know, Peter stays with Ben. He doesn't go after the robber. He stays throughout the whole time, you know, and then he realizes that it could even be at the hospital where, you know, Peter doesn't know if Ben is going to make it. You know, maybe he doesn't die. So I'm thinking when Peter finds out that Ben did pass, it's going to be probably maybe 2 a.m. at the hospital. The doctors tell him, because Aunt May's not there. Does she get a phone call? We don't know. Realistically, they would call her. So then May could, you know, drive down to the hospital, but Peter's already left. And this is where it's pouring rain. Peter's angry, like there's rage in him to the point I could just, you know, like he's literally like wanting to lunge at this guy, right? So let's write that. Let's start writing this stuff down. Peter starts screaming for help as Ben begins to cry and watch Peter, who is trying to help him, Ben says the lines with great power. Peter and other people try to help as the ambulance begins to show up to Ben's aid. They end up taking Peter. How would they do that? Okay. They end up taking Ben, and Peter goes with them, maybe with another bystander who's like, I'll offer to drive you. I mean, it's realistic. There's a tragedy and there's other people. There's going to be that one guy who's going to be like, yeah, like, or women, like, or a girl or somebody, you know, it's in the city. There's going to have to be some type of compassion there. So they end up taking Ben, and Peter goes with them, maybe with another bystander who offers to drive. The cops end up talking to Peter at the hospital about the robber and what happened. Peter is in the waiting room as they rush Ben, who is dying from the gunshot wound. And then we're going to have May gets a call because the story's gonna kind of cross-cut. Cross-cutting is really fun. I learned that in film school. I kind of already was using it before, but to play with it and fully know how to use it, that's what's gonna, I think, is gonna make the story really interesting. So May gets a call saying that, Ben was shot. He is in the hospital. And Peter is also there already. She begins rushing out of the house, but the car is gone. So she calls a cab to come quick, giving Peter more time at the hospital. More time at the hospital. Okay. Because now we have, May, there's a situation. There's no car because Ben took the car. Boom, this happens. Okay. This is getting interesting. Giving Peter more time at the hospital. It's now getting to be 2 a.m. and Peter gets the news from the doctor and also the officer, or the police officer who was with Peter the whole time. Note, again, this is going to be cool, the officer is a young version of Miles Morales' dad. Okay. Who is with Peter, because if we end up doing a Death of Spider-Man series within the like in this series for a future season, this is where things get deep. This is where things are connecting. Like, oh, Miles' dad, he knew Peter, like he knew frickin' Spider-Man. That would be deep. I think that's cool. Okay. Note, the officer is a young version of Miles Morales' dad who is with Peter and gives him the news that his uncle was killed. He gives Peter a moment by himself to process the grief. Peter slowly looks process the grief. Peter hears the officer whose radio goes off, and it's revealed that the robber was spotted somewhere downtown. Okay, and then this is where Peter, it's as if time slows down for Peter, and he looks at his sweater and his Spider-Man suit that is showing a little bit. It's covered in blood, Ben's blood. And so Peter, now filled with rage, leaves the scene before the officer could tell Peter that his aunt was already coming. Okay, and now this is where things get intense. So I've written quite a bit. I mean, it's getting really good. And this is only part 1, so the only gap we got to fill in, where did Peter go? You know, what lie did he tell Ben? And what school is he going to? I think this is a pretty good draft. Again, I haven't really had time to do this. Like, genuinely, I just didn't. Like, it's been forever. So to write this story out, I mean, it's really getting good. So Peter, now filled with rage, leaves before the officer could tell Peter that his aunt was already coming. Peter out of the hospital, and now in a rain and lightning and thunderstorm, starts going to the street where the robber was spotted. And he runs, and he's booking it, and he runs like he is going super fast. And ends up catching up to the robber, and that is where Peter begins his search for the killer, and it's going to take him around maybe like 2 hours. It's 2 a.m. when he left, and the final confrontation will be at around 4 a.m. in the storyline, when Peter finds the robber. We could now go in so many different ways with this. Like, is Peter gonna find the robber? Is the robber gonna die? Like, what's going to happen? I don't know what I want to do. Personally, I want to go with the Raimi route, where the robber ends up just falling to his death. I don't know. I feel like if Peter had a flashback to a couple hours ago where, like, Ben was talking to him, maybe he's crying. And, you know, the robber's falling, Peter uses a web, and he's just crying. Like, tears are falling out of his eyes. But he knows that he can't take a life, because with great power comes great responsibility. And so Peter leaves the robber. And during the same night, Peter comes back home, and that's another, like, the story's gonna get deeper, where, like, the depression's gonna set in. You know, the funeral plans are gonna happen. Like, he's going to go to the funeral. Like, we're gonna write this. It's gonna be freaking terrible, I know. But I mean, this is another side. Like, him standing there and seeing Ben, he's gone. Like, it's at the funeral, he's gonna freaking lose it. He's not gonna be going to school. His grades are gonna be, you know, they're not gonna fail him, but I mean, they're gonna accommodate him, obviously. But I mean, so far, part 1 of Peter Parker, The Webs of Spiderman is looking really good. I'm gonna show you what I did. I'm gonna just show you, again, this is the behind the scenes. I'm very excited, like, seriously. So this is where I wrote the story, like, everything that we drafted. You can obviously tell, like, what I'm doing is just a draft, because we have to make a decision. Is this going to be an audio drama? Is it going to be a what if fan fiction? I mean, what is this story going to be? I mean, I'm thinking, to be on the lazy side, it could just be a fan fiction. a custom fan fiction series. I mean, it's not lazy, but it's going to cost less money because obviously right now the channel's not doing the greatest as what it could be doing. So we're not like generating a ton of a ton of money where we could, hire these people to do this. I also don't know if I want to write I don't know if I want to use Final Draft to write this with dialogue. I'm really thinking maybe a third-person perspective. Because, again, this idea was over a year ago, right? So, I mean, it was over a year ago. But the idea was more so, the audio drama. So, it would be cool to do 2 versions of this to see the reception, how people like it, how you guys like this series. Because, again, it could go either way with being an audio drama. I do want to do a breakdown video with this because I already got the thumbnail for the breakdown video because I was planning ahead for this series because I knew either way it was inevitable that it would happen. So again, this is what I wrote down. You can kind of see the notes, everything that we were talking about. Why isn't my mouse working? Oh. So, I mean, we're about, I'd say, less than 2 pages. So what I'm going to do now is just continue on writing it down. I mean, there's a lot more to do. It's going to be really interesting to see where this goes. I'm going to do a couple other things today, get this video out, just to, establish that we're going to be doing this series. Like, we're going to be doing some behind the scenes stuff. I think it's going to be really cool. My legs are hurting a little bit from sitting, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to shut my laptop for now, because I think what I need to do is I'm going to listen to music for a little bit, because I kind of want to get the feeling, I'm envisioning now, like, the block, like that story block. Holy crap. I'm literally just kind of moving around. Ugh, big stretch. I'm just going to put my camera here. Oh, man. I felt out of breath earlier in the morning, like at the start of the video. I felt really sick. I didn't feel that great. And I mean, it's because I had that examination, it was, they had to put me under, so that was crazy. So, I feel a little bit out of breath. I also ordered that pizza. My girlfriend came over. I didn't want it. I actually didn't really like it as much as I did. I was like, it's fine. I shouldn't have really ate it anyways. But overall, I'm really excited to start this series, to really get into it. Especially, like, doing this. It's really different. It's kind of like, it's all behind the scenes, right, with what we're doing on the channel. Except it's more behind the scenes with writing, day-to-day stuff. I mean, I don't have anything going on. I'm actually off for a few days, but I'm just kind of taking it easy. The only things that I'm really doing is not much. I've just been kind of not as... I'm enthusiastic about everything. I am. Like, I'm really excited. I think I'm more so a little bit scared because there's so much content that's coming out. I think it's going to be really interesting to see, how we start branding this stuff. Like, we got a lot of content coming out. Like, I want to start working on this, but there's other what if fan fictions that are going to be coming out. There's going to be, like, what if Wolverine had 6 arms? that one's coming out. Writing that was interesting because it was more so Wolverine being taken over by Weapon X. But then there's other stuff that I want to experiment with. I want to do more YouTube shorts. I want to do more like breakdown videos. I think doing those are really cool. Also, I'm going to be doing Marvel vs. DC. That's a series that's coming out. Spidey Bugle on X. He actually has been working with me on a bunch of logos. So I'm really excited to do that. There's a lot of plans for the channel. This was one of them. I was like, we're gonna do behind the scenes. I think it's gonna be really cool. But overall, with that story, I'm excited to write it. I'm gonna probably go over that stuff again to fill in the gaps, because there's a lot of gaps to fill in, and I already have a lot of stuff I already have to do. Like, there's so many what if videos that we have to upload. We got content. There's about maybe like 8 videos coming out. So I'm kind of excited to where it's going to lead the channel, because right now the channel, I don't want to say this, but it's almost freaking dead. Like, we're doing well. Like, we're doing really good, but we're not really getting the types of views that we were getting like 2 to 3 years ago. It's nothing compared to that. It's a little bit more downsized, but it's not at the same time. And I think we're just not, we're not getting to a lot of people as we were. And that's kind of my fault, because, I've been going to school. I've been doing more personal stuff at the same time. But also we do have a plan of how we're going to be doing this. Me and Zachary have a plan of what's going to be happening. There's a ton of content coming out. So I'm very excited to what we're going to be doing. Again, it's really interesting. We have voice actors who we're looking for the Spider-Man 4 animation. I'm working with Louise on X, and he's going to be doing the Amazing Spider-Man 4, which was the If I Had Written. And so we're doing that. Again, this is the thing being a content creator. It's not easy. It's freaking tough. I mean, it's not as what you would think. There's so many plans that I have. There's so many videos that I want to do. And there's only so much time in the day, but also I like to kind of take a step back and be like, okay, this is what we're planning out. This is what we're doing. And it really just goes smooth. And the reason I haven't been able to post was because, well, I came down to my hometown originally because I was grabbing stuff for my film that I was doing in the city for my school. So what happened was I was not feeling the greatest. So I ended up going to the hospital. I ended up, finding out that, oh, there could be other issues. So I was having to stay down for at least 2 weeks, and my microphone is back at the apartment, which is 3 hours away. So it wasn't like I could just, grab it and then come back. So I had to stay down here, do a lot of different tests. I'm fine now. Everything's good. But it was just the fact that these factors, life hits you as a content creator. Things happen. It's not that you don't want to upload. And then when you upload, you don't know what to upload, how much you want to upload, because the algorithm's just crazy and it's insane. So, I mean, doing what ifs, doing fan fictions, being somebody who's been in this for over 4 to 5 years now, who's experienced, I can say I've been through a lot of stuff. It's been fun. I can't wait to continue this journey. This is only episode 1. Don't forget. This is episode 1. I don't know how long it's going to be. It's not going to be edited that well. I'm just documenting things for fun, because you know, when I post a video, you guys really only know that persona, the narrator. Like, you don't know what I do, for what I'm doing. I mean, I might, who knows? I'm probably gonna watch The Bad Batch season 3 after this. Listen to music. I have an idea with Otto being the teacher, and I think Sean did that. Like, he had that idea. I want to use that idea because I'm thinking for the Peter Parker, The Webs of Spider-Man series, I really want to dive into Otto knowing about what's going to happen. Maybe he's going to connect the dots. He's going to know that Peter's Spider-Man. That's for sure going to happen. And there's a thumbnail that I did post. It's going to happen. We just need to write it. We need to get there. We're only doing part 1 with the draft, but part 3 would probably be the setup to Otto. They're going to fight on a highway, on a bridge. Kind of like No Way Home, except the bridge is going to collapse. And there's going to be a little girl. And Otto's going to... This is spoilers, by the way. This is spoilers. But Otto... I'm going to write it so that Otto ends up getting hit in the back of the head. And just because he got hit from the rubble, he's going to be like... From the arms, because they're controlling him. And he's going to see the little girl. He's going to come to his senses and be like, what am I doing? Like, I'm doing something wrong. And he's going to save the girl, but not himself. Peter's going to be on his knees. It's going to be kind of, I'm thinking the same shot of Gwen, like when Gwen died, and Peter's kind of like that. But it's different. It's like, you know, Peter's comforting Otto, who, you know, saved the girl. And who knows, like, the girl could be anybody that we would want. Like, we could write it in the future where maybe it was somebody's kid. I mean, I have no idea, but it's just for thoughts. Again, I want to do a Hulk series, an Avengers series. I want to tie everything into like my own universe type thing. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be probably doing that now. I mean, we're writing it now, but you know, we have to brand each series out, get logos for everything. We really only have the Spider-Man one, the logo. But overall, I'm excited to, you know, start getting into this again, start writing. That was just a draft. I have to start thinking about what I want to write for the actual storyline. It's going to be very long, probably, because I did say, originally I wanted to document it, where it was going to be, each part would be over an hour, but now I'm like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. I think it's going to be cool when this video gets uploaded, because then we can discuss like what's going to happen. But again, I have no idea how this is going to go down. It's going to be cool. There's ideas. There might be a video coming out tonight. One of the editors on MissedThePart Productions is editing a breakdown series for the Marvel's What If that I did. I mean, I thought I just saw something, but it's crazy. So we have that coming out, and there's going to be a couple more what ifs that you're going to see. I think we're reverting back to the original style instead of the audio type of style, so that'll be cool. But again, if you guys like these episodes of me just kind of like working on stuff, talking about things behind the scenes, I mean, this is it. Like, this is where I'm doing my stuff. I don't like this chair. Sitting on that kind of hurts. So I'm kind of thinking, but then this hurts your back. So it's a lose-lose situation. And then I have to edit these parts. But it's going to be bare minimum editing. Like, I'm not going to do much. Because, again, it's just documenting what I'm doing. And I'm just filming this on my iPhone 12. So, again, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, how we end up writing this. This is a day in the life. I'm excited. I'll continue to document stuff because we have more stuff to work on with auditions for the Spider-Man 4 uh, thing. All the shots are done, so I paid for all the shots. John did the storyboards, and I don't want to butcher her name, but I want to say Lana or Solana. I don't want to butcher her name, but she did the shots, and they turned out really good. Like, now what I have to do is I have to find all the voice actors, the script's done. And so after that, then we got to hire, or we can just look for someone who can mix it. So if you would like to mix it, I mean, if you have experience, definitely reach out, either my email or Instagram. But again, I'm going to do some meditating, listen to some music, get some vibes, how I want to do the storyline, any other ideas I have, and then after, I'm probably going to upload this, so you'll see this afterwards. Just going to relax, do some things, because obviously I don't have my microphone on me. Yeah, so I mean, I'll probably see you in the next one. And if you guys are new to the channel, I mean, if you're new and you want to stick around for the documentation part of things, if this is something that you'll enjoy, please let me know. Don't just comment, oh, what if Shrek died in frickin' Shrek 3? Like, if you can actually give me some feedback, because that's an issue that we've been having on the channel, is a lot of people haven't been giving me as much feedback as I would like. They're kind of requesting stuff. So if you're watching this to the end and you like this type of content, do let me know how to continue. But yeah, I'm going to do that. Probably give you an update on this series as we continue. Don't know how to brand this. I don't even know. I mean, I don't know. We're going to figure it out together. But thank you so much. Take it easy. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.